Hello, everyone. Welcome back to All About Mag, all sports, all the time. It's all about CFFL, where we talk about the Community Flag Football League, go through the week of football, and just analyze the game. Of course, your host here today is Bobby of WR Sports, and with me today.
I am the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, analytical, methodical individual, the Adebola.
Yes, sir. And it's been one wonderful week of football. Debola, take us away with the games.
Right, starting us off with the play of the week. A lot happened this week, but we have to give it to Faustina of the Lagos Giants. The throw from the quarterback, Emmanuel, which was an almost sack, into a lob over the Outlaws defense for the touchdown was insane.
It was perfect heights, perfect catch. Play of the week.
Yeah. Moving on to our next segment, score lines and storylines, where we break down the matchups from the game week and our thoughts on them. Starting us off is the Lagos Mavericks versus the Liquid Sports Club, ending 38-0. Bobby, I am proud to say that one of my predictions was spot on. Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Absolutely spot on with the prediction. We all expected that the Mavericks were going to come out guns blazing against the Liquid Sports Club, and that's exactly what happened. But it was the manner and the way it was executed. The double QB plays was just too much to handle for the for LSC. Of course, LSC were also short-handed. I think they only played that game with about 7 players, which is crazy. They had only 4 females on third and female, which is crazy. But so you seeing 0 on the board is not a surprise. But the Mavericks definitely balled out, and I have to call a big shout out to the way they ended that game. Destiny with the pick six, fire.
All right. Moving on to the second game, which is the Lagos Wolverines versus the Lagos Hawks. The Hawks, of course, back in action this week. However, the game ended in a mercy rule to the Lagos Wolverines, 51-12. Bobby, your thoughts?
I mean, great to see the Hawks back, first of all. We were denied some amazing talent last week, but we saw them this week, and we're happy to see David and Moses particularly, who had absolute worthy of games of a game this week. Moses had a very tough catch. David also had a decent showing as well. So it was really good on that end. However, just the overall play of the Hawks, I had them winning this game because I thought they were going to come hungry. But that's not really the approach we got. We didn't get a Hawks team that looked like they were ready to attack this game. Instead, it was the Wolverines that came out, to show and put in an amazing shift. Um, Led by a player that we initially criticized, who has turned it around completely. Inidara of the Wolverines played a fantastic game, and this is good news for the Wolverines because she's carrying this form into the playoffs. That's good news. Very good news. So, it's good for them. They had a fantastic game. It looked very easy against the Hawks. So, yeah, that was the game, and the firepower was too much. The Hawks just had to lose.
All right. Moving on to game three of the week 7 recap. We have Titans Athletics versus Spartans FC. Bobby, we were both wrong with our predictions. We both had the Spartans coming away with the victory. But the Titans showed why you should remember the Titans. The score ended 24-19. And I was just saying that being on the sideline and in the game this time, the mentality from the Titans camp was beautiful. It was disciplined, it was execution focused, and Titans came out and got the job done to end their season into the playoffs, to end the regular season, moving into the playoffs.
The difference in this game was um, from the QB position for me. I think that's what won Titans this game. So we had a situation where Flash, of course, who is not QB1, had to QB for that game. And as opposed to Kenny. And the difference for me was that of course, Kenny being the QB1 of the team has a lot more in terms of fire plays, in terms of deeper threats or more complicated offense plays that he's gonna like to run. But Flash kept it simple, stupid, to the point that it was just like, you're giving me this, I'm gonna take it and a bit more and a bit more every time and a bit more, and it got them over the line. And then, of course, Kenny came in later on, and then while they had relaxed because of the way Flash was playing, of course, maybe not what they had practiced for, they're expecting maybe deeper throws and all of that. Then Kenny came in to now switch things up immediately. And it just wasn't it just was too much for Spartans to deal with. So I think that was what made that game happen. And kudos to the Titans proving us wrong and ending the game with a win. Season rather.
Yes, sir. Moving on to our fourth and final game for the Week 7 recap, we have the Lagos Giants versus Outlaws Athletics. The Outlaws have been on a terror since facing the Titans. They came away with the win, 44-8. Bobby, your thoughts?
Yeah. Unfortunate for everyone else in the league, but Golden is back. Yeah. So bye bye to everybody. Tell all your ladies in third and female defense that Golden is back because they will hear from her. And I think, that also spurred up, the rest of the team. They mixed it up a bit. Some players who may, score their first touchdown as well in this game. So I think her back in the team just reinvigorated everybody. It's an extra boost that they needed. And for the offense, they will be glad. For third and female, Priska will be glad as well. Her options just went up a notch as well. And I think also, shout out to Suliat, who had an amazing rush game, as well. That's going to be big in the playoffs, roles that may seem not as, shouty in a game. It's possible that you can go through a whole game and the person that gets all the plaudits is not the rusher. But I think Suliat now stepping up is gonna be a big thing in the playoffs for the Outlaws. So the Outlaws are looking very good. The Giants, on the other hand, I mean, they put up a fight initially. It was great. It was looking good. And I think there was a tipping point, crucial moment of the game when Emmanuel threw that ball to Faustina and it was right in her hand. But boom, bazooka from nowhere came and just snatched the ball. We reviewed it once, twice, and it was clean. It was a clean pick, clean interception from Bazooka. And I think once that happened, then the gulf just opened up between the two teams. And yeah, that's what it was for me. But the Giants are gonna have one more game to play to see if they make it to the playoffs. It's gonna be tight, of course, with the Hawks and also with the Mavs as well. But
Yep,
great game from the Outlaws. Kudos to them.
yep. Like you said, the Outlaws are glad to have their golden girl back in more ways than one. Yeah. looking at it from the Giants side of things, right? This seems to be a trend with them. They always have this play that's a tipping point for them. You see it in their game against the Hawks. You see it in their game against the Wolverines. And now it shows up again in their game against the Outlaws. They have momentum. They are carrying themselves well. And then one play doesn't go their way, and it's like everything just falls apart. The rest of the game is just it's wraps from there. With the Giants, I've always said that when they're catching, they are the team to beat. I think they need to go back and check their mentality. What happens when we're not catching? How can we get ourselves back to that point where we are the team to beat? Credit to the Outlaws, though. Credit to the Outlaws. Like I said, ever since facing the Titans, they have been on a spree. They have snapped their early season woes, where it's like a near win, a near this, and near that. They have snapped that, and they're right on track for the playoffs. So credit to them.
The Outlaws are no longer in-laws with near success syndrome. It's
Yep.
gone. It's gone. No more. And they can be glad about that. It's a good time to get back on form. Great time to get back on form.
All right, we've come to the end of the scorelines and storylines segments. Stay tuned for our next segment and our special guests, who you will be glad, I'm sure, to witness.